Hi, folks. Welcome back to Source by Cofactr, the show that cuts through the noise and gets to the good parts. I'm Ed Dodd. Great to have you joining us. If you've ever, sat in the planning meeting and heard someone talking about an E bomb, then M bomb, maybe even a C bomb, and you just felt your brain starting to melt, well, you're definitely in the right place. We are going to cut through this absolute jungle of jargon around the bill of materials. The problem, it's not just the alphabet soup, is it? It's that all this jargon, it's led to this like fundamental misunderstanding of what a bomb even is. Teams are treating the engineering bomb, the manufacturing bomb, the costed bomb like they're totally separate things. Three different documents, three truths. And that's just, well, frankly, it's misguided. And it's expensive too. Look, our main point today, it's pretty sharp, pretty assertive. Most of the industry, how they work day to day, they're mistaken. Your E bomb, your M bomb, they are not different bombs. Simple as that. They're just reports, views, really derived from one single source of truth, what we're calling the canonical bomb. That single word, it just shifts the whole thing, doesn't it? It stops being this endless argument about bomb types, recognizes it's just a question of arranging data in useful ways. And once you get that mindset, once you realize you're only really managing from one source, one canonical truth, and everything else is just, a view or a report pulled from it, then all that confusion, it just vanishes overnight. And your whole product process gets way smoother. So today, we're looking to really nail down what a canonical bomb looks like. And maybe even more importantly, how to handle those operational reports that come from it. This is your shortcut. Getting it right, getting bomb clarity once and for all. So let's unpack that, this canonical truth idea. If we strip everything back, all the extra fields, all the complexity, what is a bill of materials like? At its absolute rock bottom core, at its heart, it's actually incredibly simple. A BOM is just a structured list, and it's defined by only two things: manufacturer part number, VMPN, and quantity per. That's it. That's the essential, irreducible truth. Surprised. Everything else, then, all the stuff we usually see, descriptions, target prices, lead times, compliance flags, maybe an internal part number from the ERP, all that extra info, that's the really critical distinction right there. Anything beyond that specific MPN and the quantity, it's just information added for convenience. Now, it might be a valuable info. Often it's absolutely critical info, but it turns the canonical BOM into what we're calling a BOM report. The key is being clear about the canonical source and understanding everything else is just reports that enhance the canonical BOM with useful information. Okay, let's make this concrete. Let's talk about printed circuit board assemblies, PCBAs. What actually controls, buying parts, building the thing, even legal liability? Where is that single undeniable ground truth for a PCBA? Well, it's undeniable. It is the CAD schematic. The CAD file itself, that's the blueprint. It shows where components go, how they connect. It dictates what components are physically there and how many. That schematic, that's your canonical BOM. This is where it all starts, isn't it? Because the design software, that's where this list actually originates. We're talking tools like Altium, maybe KiCad. All PCBA BOMs today, they're born in CAD. You build the schematic, link the components, and then the BOM list is generated from that schematic. It's a report function. Altium, for instance, it has powerful tools under reports, bill of materials. It takes that inherent component list from the design, and then it can enrich it, pulling in data from outside databases or internal systems. And if you're using something open source like KiCad, maybe you're running scripts like generate BOM scripts that pull the raw data out, right? And then you might add custom fields like maybe MPN1, MPN2 for your alternates, that kind of thing. But right here, BOM export from CAD, this starts the danger zone. This is the moment things can start to go wrong. Reports generated from CAD, they're only almost canonical. Now, in practice, most of us will consider this BOM as canonical, but we want to point out that any bad component data in the CAD tool will appear in the exported BOM. So it's good to understand this vulnerability. Sometimes it's key to figuring out why a PCBA project derails. Okay, so let's hang on a minute. You might want to push back a little there. If the schematic is the only canonical truth, what about multi-sourcing? Engineers often don't want the schematic locked to just one MPN. What if we have three approved suppliers, three different MPNs for the same function? Shouldn't all three be in the canonical BOM? This is a really important point, a critical challenge. But the distinction, I think, still holds. The canonical truth is that the design needs a component with, say, X footprint and Y function, and the quantity is Z. That's in the schematic. Now, if you define three approved alternates, MPN A, B, and C, within your CAD library system, and you link all of them to that specific designator on the schematic, then the canonical truth still originates right there in the schematic environment. You've defined the need and the allowed options. The error, the drift, happens when the report generation process starts pulling in other data. Maybe it links to a PLM system, and that system pulls in an internal part number and an IPN instead of the fundamental MPN. This is just one example where disconnects can start. So the schematic itself is clean. It's mathematically true to the design intent. But the moment that report function reaches out to connect to something else, an ERP, a spreadsheet, even just a custom field someone added, that's a potential point of failure, a vector for error. And the risk just grows with enrichment. Think about pulling in pricing or lead times from some external database that updates, I don't know, daily. That report immediately becomes volatile, right? The more enrichment you add, the greater the chance that the report, the thing people call the E-bomb or the C-bomb or whatever, it can start to drift away from the pure ground truth of the schematic. So the assertion stands. Schematic is canonical. Everything else is a report. Enrichment adds necessary complexity, sure, but also manageable risk if you see it clearly. Okay, so this whole perspective, it's not just like clever wordplay. It's more like a really fundamental operational philosophy. Why is this so important? Because it delivers clarity, instantly measurable clarity. You get like three immediate wins. First, clear ownership. Design engineering owns the canonical BOM via the schematic. That's their baby. Their job is simply ensuring the part numbers and quantities in that schematic are correct, period. Procurement, manufacturing, finance, they generate reports from that source. They're consumers of the truth, not editors of it. This alone can kill that endless meeting loop where everyone argues about whose spreadsheet is the real BOM. Second, your ground source truth stays lean, just to MPN and quantity per. It's inherently less prone to errors and misunderstandings. And third, reduce complexity overall, because you just stop trying to keep multiple conflicting BOMs in sync. It's impossible anyway. Instead, you just memorialize the one canonical BOM, and it feeds all the different views people need. So when asked for the manufacturing BOM, fine, you don't argue. You just generate the manufacturing specific report by enhancing the canonical BOM. Done. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk about the reports themselves, starting with maybe the most common and definitely one of the most error-prone, the quote BOM. This is a list you send out just to get pricing and availability from suppliers. We need to be assertive here too. What are the absolute must-have non-negotiable fields for a supplier to give you a useful quote? For an accurate quote, you absolutely must provide three things: quantity required, an extension of QTY per times the number of assemblies we're quoting, the manufacturer name, and the MPN. If you have them, include any approved alternate MPNs. Also good practice to include a description if you have it. Now, here's a surprisingly common error, a piece of data teams forget all the time that just tanks their financial planning, especially when trying to set the standard cost. The mistake people make is forgetting to include the estimated annual usage, the EAU, especially when asking for budgetary quotes. Look, this isn't some nice to have, it's vital. Suppliers work on volume price breaks. It's how their business runs. If they don't know your potential annual volume, your EAU, what are they going to do? They'll quote you the price for prototypes or maybe a tiny batch. And that means the standard cost you calculate based on that quote is going to be way off, inflated, sometimes 50% higher, even more, which leads to just disastrously wrong financial projections later on. It's such a fundamental mistake in quoting. Some common fields you might want to include are reference designators, which can be helpful when quoting contract manufacturers. If it's a bid to buy, the required date is good to include. If you use internal part numbers, include them. and you want to get back info on lifecycle status, lead free, reach codes, and datasheet links, add a column for them. Okay, now for efficiency. This part's my favorite, the do not include list. What stuff do we need to just aggressively scrub off the quote bomb before it even leaves the building? Because including these things can easily lead to mistakes. So let's be a little ruthless here. First off, get rid of all phantom items. These are things like mechanical placeholders on the board, test points, fiducials, maybe even assembly notes that somehow ended up on the list. They aren't purchase parts. They just clutter the list and make the quoting team waste time asking, "What's this? How much does it cost?" When the answer is $0. Another offender for quoting is the DMP items, the do not populate. DMPs are a surprising source of quoting errors, especially with contract manufacturers. Think about it. You have 150 components on your BOM, but 15 are marked DMP, or maybe quantity 0. The supplier now has to manually check every single line to make sure they don't quote the stuff you don't want. We have seen it happen. Suppliers, they're rushing, they accidentally include the cost of some really expensive DMP part on the quoted BOM. Your cost can get inflated, or at least your time wasted explaining it. Simple rule, if you don't want to quote it, take it off the list, period. Also, keep out any unapproved alternates or experimental parts. You're still just testing. Clean that list before you send it. Okay, so now let's move on to other common BOM reports. First, there's often a materials BOM, sometimes called the costed BOM. If you are using spreadsheets to run operations, this might be your main BOM. If so, rule number one, it should mirror the structure of that quoted BOM we just talked about. And the absolute key best practice here, you need a rigorous process for BOM compare so you can easily verify your materials BOM matches your canonical BOM. Every single time the schematic gets revised, you must actively compare that spreadsheet data against the CAD source line by line before you even think about anything else. Okay, and the final BOM report we'll talk about today is the key piece of the system puzzle, the import BOM, the one you feed into big systems like ERP or PLM or maybe a procurement system. We really need to stress, before you even touch those other systems, you need rock solid revision control. Revision control just isn't optional for systems integration, it's a prerequisite. But you can have some informality. It's okay to make a distinction between pre-release revision control, like using internal tags. A lot of companies like to call pre-release RevX. So you might put RevX1, RevX2, and so on in the file name. These BOMs are easier to modify because they are not subject to formal engineering change orders. And then there's the formal released revision control once you hit release Rev A, Rev B, Rev C. Every single change after that must be managed by a formal ECO process. That's just non-negotiable if you want system integrity. Now, when you're finally ready to import your BOM into an ERP system or similar, you're not just uploading a file. You're feeding this complex web of cables called a relational database, commonly SQL. Definitely more than just a list. So the import BOM is used to populate several interconnected tables. There's the item master, which defines all the item attributes. Then there's the BOM header and BOM lines tables. That's the direct list of components and quantities. The costs get linked in too via the item cost table. And then you'll probably also need to import a routing header and routing table. This is all the labor steps. Get this from engineering. So the BOM says what's in the build, and the routing says what steps to take and how long. That way, the final cost calculation is actually accurate, which means that ERP system then becomes the ultimate generator for future reports. Once that BOM is formally accepted into the ERP or PLM, that system becomes the designated system of record. If you're using multiple tools, best practices designate one as the system of record. And what that means is, from that point on, whether you need a new BOM or a costed BOM for finance, or maybe a specific report for a shipment, you generate it from that system of record that maintains a clear, traceable, verified link all the way back to that single canonical truth of schematic. Okay, let's just quickly recap the kind of powerful clarity we've hopefully gained here. Forget the alphabet soup, EBOM, MBOM, CBOM, whatever. Forget it. There is only one canonical BOM for a PCBA. That's the CAD schematic. Full stop. Everything else is just a report generated for a specific reason. Quoting, building, costing, getting that distinction, that assertive clarity, that's the key. Clear ownership, clean data, zero confusion. And here's that final maybe provocative thought for you to take away. Take into your next engineering review, perhaps. If the CAD schematic really is your canonical BOM, how often is your team actively comparing and verifying the latest BOM report, whatever you call it, against that original ground truth? Especially, for NPI in that frantic 48 hours right before the first PO gets placed, because that gap, that potential difference between the report everyone's using and the actual source, that's not just some data mismatch. That's the precise moment where operational clarity can just dissolve into, well, total chaos. All right, then apply this. Use this sharp understanding. Simplify your life. Thank you all for joining me on Sourced by Cofactr. I'm Ed Dodd. I hope we cut through some noise and helped you get to the good parts. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe and follow Cofactr for more hardware insights. Leave your questions in the comments and sign up for our newsletter at cofactr.com.